Hi, my name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be discussing the energy that will be prominent beginning today, the 16th of January, and moving through the weekend. Let's get started. Very intense energy this week. Today we've got the Sun is conjunct Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. And this speaks of personal transformations. And because it's in the sign of Capricorn, the latter degrees of Capricorn, I'm going to also suggest it's the personal transformations that allow you to overcome powerlessness or power struggles. So keep that in mind as we move through the full moon, which is the very next day. So tomorrow on the 17th, Martin Luther King Day, I'd like to take a moment, pause, and recognize Dr. King and reflect upon all the good that he has done for us as humanity. Now, we do have a full moon tomorrow in Cancer. So in addition to our Sun conjunct Pluto, that is all going to be opposing the moon in Cancer. Very watery element, very emotional, and very intense. At the time of the full moon, there's a trine with Neptune. Now, yesterday we did see or heard about a tsunami warning that was posted on the west coast of the United States. This is a perfect example of Neptunian energy coming in at the time of a full moon. And the fact that it was pursuant to an underwater volcano speaks all about Uranus and Neptune and how things can just pop up out of the blue and have an effect on us. In addition to that, now on a more practical level, Neptune trines can be very dreamy and inspirational, very hopeful, but be mindful here. There can also be some confusion that is brought in. And I have to tell you, typically when I produce these videos, it is a one and done. I will record the video and that'll be it. I swear I've had 8 takes today. So by the same token, along with all this other energy, it can be somewhat frustrating. So just be aware of that. We do have the moon is sextile the north node, which is just about ready to shift as well on Tuesday, the nodes shift. But prior to that, this moon, the full moon, is going to be sextile the north node. And what I believe that to be is using our emotions, the emotional strength of this full moon, which it will be very emotional, but using that energy to align with your greatest good. Get on that right path. If you find yourself emotional about something and it is something that's making you feel very sad or alienated or frustrated, take a deep breath, practice self-detachment, but then get back to your north node, your greatest good, and that of the collective. Whenever you got the moon that's going to sextile the north node, it's do something to get something. So get back on that right path. If it means to sit down and just shed a bunch of tears and get in the feels to get yourself on the right path, by all means do it. It is absolutely a great day for it. Now, Neptune, as I mentioned, is going to square Mars. Neptune is in Pisces. It's going to square Mars on this day, which again gets back to with Uranus involved as well. We've got some very intense energy relative to watery aspects that could pop up out of nowhere. Again, very much like that tsunami that we spoke about. And also when you've got Neptune involved, your intuition is heightened. So use your intuition on these days. Even though that's a square with Mars, you may not want to take action on something. Mars is that planet of action. But Neptune is our intuition. Allow your intuition to guide you. You might want to wait a day or two till that confusion kind of settles a little bit, but trust your intuition at the time of the full moon. It will not lead you astray. And we also have Uranus, which is in Taurus, and Mercury, which is in Aquarius, at a square. So this is saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. We've all been at the right place at the right time. Well, this is speaking words, texting, communications, phone calls, anything, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, and then regretting that you did at a later time. Could even be 5 minutes after you do it. So just be mindful of your words, and if someone comes at you with an aggressive tone, the thing is not to poke the tiger back, it's to apply that the compassion. Use the trine with Neptune to kind of water things down a little bit and apply some compassion if you could, please. Now, on the 5-dimensional level, when you've got Mercury retrograde in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus, this can be very innovative ideas that pop up from nowhere. So keep a tablet handy or your vision board if you want to work on your vision board. You might be pleasantly surprised to see that your intuition is pumping some really fun things in your sphere of knowing that provoke some very, very creative inspiration. So keep a pad of paper handy on this day. Now, the very next day, which is Tuesday, it's very complex energy, but it's going to shift really quickly. So early in the day, we have Mercury, which is in Aquarius, is going to sextile Chiron. So something that was said the day before or in the very recent past is going to have some healing application towards it. Most likely, because we're talking Mercury here, it's a pivot back to things from the past, and it really could just be the day before at the time of the full moon, and applying some very healing modalities to yourself or others to help facilitate, like I said, healing, some type of growth, if you will. Now, on the same day, Uranus stationed and goes direct. So Uranus is going to be extremely, extremely powerful. This is epiphanies that could come in out of nowhere for the purpose of stability. We have been through this retrograde cycle. Uranus has been retrograde since the mid of August. So what has been taken away from you relative to stability, which has caused you to leap forward now with a greater understanding or a new understanding of whatever it was that was taken away from you, most likely relative to anything that Taurus, Uranus, and Taurus stands for. So that could be finances, your money, other people's money, anything that made you feel stable, something that was removed, that was difficult to find, that was unclear, is now going to turn around for you so that you can use it to your advantage. You're going to apply that vision, a very, very well-defined vision now of the future, because we've got Uranus involved. So now you can start plotting and planning for the future using this better understanding that you didn't have because there was no clarity or it was completely removed from your sphere, so that you can have stability. You can be comfortable even if you're comfortable with instability. That gives you a sense of comfort. Think about that. Then on that same very day, we have the nodes shifting. So the north node is moving into Taurus, south node is in Scorpio. There are many things. We've talked about this before in other videos, but it is the second, 8th house energy. This is your money versus other people's money. It could be finances, banking, institution, also psychology. I mentioned please check in with your friends and relatives to make sure that they are doing okay from a psychological standpoint, because there could be some folks facing some very difficult challenges. So keep checking in on folks. I think that would be mindful during this period of time. Then very late in the day, the sun is going to conjunct Pluto in Capricorn and trine, well, it's already conjunct, we talked about that before, but it's going to trine the north node, which is in Taurus now. So this is seeing your path or your greatest good from a very practical perspective, knowing that it could take courage for you to reach those goals and objectives, but you are motivated more than ever to move forward because you know it's going to afford you the stability that you so deserve. Okay? Then on Wednesday, which is the 19th, we've got happy birthday to all the Aquarian folks out there. I love Aquarius energy. It is going to be a very welcome shift as we pull away from this Capricorn practical, down-to-earth energy to Aquarius, which is air energy. It's very innovative. It's very lofty. It's very social and independent. Because Aquarius is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus, it speaks about you as an individual, but how you fit into the collective and how there can be some guidelines or restrictions relative to the collective, but you're okay with it because it allows you to be an individual. You know who you are, you're comfortable with who you are, so therefore it's okay for others to be who they are. You're comfortable with that. And in all of that, there is this harmony and unity that comes along with that. I would also say, because we had the Saturn-Uranus square through most or almost all of 2021, and it's going to be in the background in 2022, what have you learned? What have you learned? Go back to those very important days. I believe it was February 14th, June 14th, and then on Christmas Eve, that square between Saturn and Uranus was exact. There were lessons learned there. So think back on what those lessons were, and find the opportunity in it and apply it now for the purpose of growth. Exponential growth, actually. We've got Uranus involved. Then on Sunday of this week, we have the Sun, which is in Aquarius, is going to conjunct Mercury, which is retrograde. And this is very rational thinking and communications. Because Mercury is retrograde, it could be a thought that you had in the past or an ideal that you had prior, and pivoting back and making changes moving forward that align with who you are, your personal freedom, or any of those other things that the Sun in Aquarius is reflective of. We just spoke about those. So this, as I mentioned, this is a very intense week. We've got, let's see, a full moon, nodal axis shift, Uranus goes direct, the Sun changes signs. So we've got a lot going on. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Always, always, always practice self-care. But be mindful of your words. With Mercury, even though it is retrograde, and the square with Uranus, that could be angry words that come out of nowhere, that they're meaningful when they hit, but the person who is saying those words or sending that text, it may not be very well thought out. So please don't give it a great deal of weight as you move through your day. You can listen to it, you can understand it, but instead of reacting to it, the best thing may be to respond by taking a time out and giving yourself some space so you can really think through and align with your greatest good, which again is that trine with the North Node later in the week. If you pause, you'll see what the correct action is to take or the best path for you to align with your greatest good. Also, remember early on in the week, we learned that power struggles, the best way to manage a power struggle is to just let go. Sometimes the greatest power you can have is to let someone else just let them just have that power. If they think that power gives them something over you, sometimes just letting go of that struggle is enough to give you the freedom that you just so deserve. Be your authentic self. This is Aquarius season. We are being our authentic self. And by doing that, especially with Uranus having such a profound place this week and in the coming couple of weeks, actually most of the year, allow the universe to work through Uranus and catapult you to where you need to be to reach your greatest good. The potential is out there. You're ready to step into it. Don't swim upstream. Just relax and allow the universe to guide you. Practice self-care, healthy detachment if you need to, if things are intense. Give it a day or two, and the answers will come this week, I promise. And of course, I will be here every step of the way. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm truly grateful that you did. It's always a blessing when I have you in my day. If you like this video, please do like it. If you feel that someone could be helped by these videos, please do share it with them. And if you click the subscribe button, you'll be notified when a video is dropped. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.